Hello everyone, I just want to show you, let me see, can I fix this a little bit? Hello, I just wanted to show you, I just made my new batch of meat. Look how nice and pink it is inside. And what I did was, I took whatever leftover broth I had from my pot and I put it in another pot. I'm going to make a soup with it. I did add some water because obviously I'm not going to have enough liquids, but there's the broth that I cooked my meat in. Took extra water and it's going to go, oh, sorry, straight into my pot. I will add more water and I'm going to make a nice little split pea soup with this recipe. So it's very easy. And then you can even put some meat if you want inside. I just want to show you how beautiful this meat is. This is a new recipe of mine. And see how pink it is? Let me see if I have a knife. And the garlic, I even put the garlic. I just removed the skins from the garlic. The onion, so basically what I did use for my broth was a bay leaf, which I still have in my pot. The bay leaf is in there. The garlic is in there. But I put about 5 cloves of garlic, about half an onion. I put about, I'd say 2 tablespoons of my taco seasoning that I have. If you want that seasoning, you gotta go check. I have a recipe for it. Put a little bit of salt, a little bit of oil, and that's what I use to make my broth. I will be making this recipe for the meat for you guys. It's a steakette recipe, but I did change it up a little, and as you can tell, there's little bits of beets because I did use the beet. But look how beautiful and pink that is inside. So I will be using some of this meat inside my my soup recipe that I'll be making, which is very simple. Basically, I'm going to use this broth and I'm going to put split piece in it and I'm going to give it a nice smoky taste to it. But this meat is amazing. Nice and firm. Really, really good. It is really, really good. It's just a little twist to the recipe I have. I just kind of altered it a little. Just experimenting. I always experiment. Yum. So I'm going to put this to cook. And basically, I'm going to add more water to this. And I'm going to make a delicious split pea soup with this broth. There we go. There we go. Wash my... Whoop. Yeah, of course I would do that. Okay, so basically you're going to take whatever broth is left over from making your meat and you're just going to see what size pot you're using and then you're going to basically work with it. If you find you don't have enough split pea soup in your soup, what I do is I add some red lentils, and what that does is it cooks really quickly. But it's just a small soup to have for dinner. And I used, I would say, about maybe 2 cups of split peas. I just used whatever broth I had left over and I added some water. I will alter it by adding salt and basically a little bit of olive oil if I need to. But it's going to be very simple. The flavors are all in the broth. Okay, let me just put this back up here. I might need some more split peas. I will add some salt to it. And salt again to taste. I will add some black pepper. Now normally you would have, when you make split pea soup, usually you have ham. We don't use ham, so I'm going to be using a little bit of my meat, but I'm only going to put that in at the end of my cooking period. I don't want to cook my meat in the broth. I'm just going to add it right at the end when everything is done. So there we go. About 3 cups of split peas. And I'm just going to put this and slowly cook it till it cooks down. And that's how simple it is to make this recipe. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, Basically, if I need extra water, I'm just going to add water to this, but I'm going to play it by ear. Split pea soup usually is nice and thick. Yeah, you don't want a watery soup. You want a nice thick soup. So it's very simple. And there's my split peas. I just added some salt. Basically, the flavors are all in the broth where I cooked my meat. And then I will be adding, like I said, chunks of this beautiful pinkish meat that I made. And that will go into the soup. Maybe not chunks, maybe slivers. But basically, I'm going to give it a nice little smoky taste. So I'm going to use mesquite. Here we go. Nice little bit of mesquite. I'm using this one. There it is. Liquid smoke. And if you have salt, you can use the salt, but that's going to give it a nice little smoky taste to it. And I will add a little bit of maple to this recipe, but I'll do that at the end. So I'm just going to cook this down a bit, and then I'm going to come and flavor the soup up and just show you how simple it really is to make a very delicious vegan dish that has the taste and flavor of soup that's been made with meat, but we don't use any meat whatsoever. I'm just going to bring it up, bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to cover it and cook it on a very low heat. And you want to cook this down as long as you need to. The longer it cooks, the better it is, because you want this nice and broken up. So I'll see you in a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to make something that is made in where my parents come from. They're called PIZZ'ONTE. Basically, it's fried pizza dough. And we make them in either smaller sizes, or we can make them as big as the pan itself. But what we want to make right now is a small dough. And I'm not going to make a lot. This is just for my daughter and my husband. So it's going to be a small amount. And I'm going to make about a cup worth of recipe. And this is going to go great with the soup. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of yeast. Maybe a teaspoon and a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to use a little bit of salt. Now, I could use white sugar, but I'm going to use maple instead as a sweetener. Just about a teaspoon of it. And I'm going to use some warm water. And that's just going to help the yeast come together. Remember, you want to form a dough, like a piece of dough. There we go. But we don't want it too firm. Just wipe off my counter. Erica, can I have the flour, love? There we go. We're going to just add some flour now till we're able to knead this dough. Okay, so I'm just going to put some flour down. And we're just going to slowly make this dough eat up that flour. You don't want this dough to be too stiff. You want a nice, fluffy, light dough. This is going to go great. Let me just take this off. There we go. It's going to go great with the soup. This was my father's favorite. Come every Friday, my mother used to make this for him. And this will get fried. Either you can deep fry this, or you can simply shallow fry it in a pan with a little bit of olive oil rather than deep frying it. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna deep fry it or if I will do just shallow frying it, pan fry it. Just a little more flour. So this is a great time to make this, is when, I'm sorry for the shakies guys. I've got my camera attached to my board, so every time I move this, it's gonna make the camera move. So I'm just gonna knead this dough. Remember, you want a soft dough. You don't want a very firm dough, but you don't want a very mushy dough either. So keep kneading it. And if you need a recipe, I will put a little recipe, quantities for the people who don't want to just try and make this by hand. It's all about the feel, guys. You have to feel your food. Picking up more flour. As you can tell, it's getting firmer. But yet, see, it's still soft. This is going to go great with that soup. I know my husband's going to say, that's all you made? That's all you made? Because he loves this. Like I said, my mom used to make this every Friday. If it wasn't pizza, she used to treat him with fried pizza dough. And he would, yes, he would eat it with some cheese, but not soft cheese. He would use very hard cotronese or parmesan, and he would just cut cubes of cheese and he would bite into his pizza dough, his fried pizza dough. He would love that. Or cacciatore, which will be like a sausage. I'm gonna have to try and make one myself. I do have a soppressata that I make, which you can use to eat with this. There you go. So we're just gonna form a ball. And we're just gonna put this aside and we're gonna let it rest. There we go. Clean off my counter space. And I'll come back in a little bit, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So I am gonna keep this covered and it's just gonna rise a little. You want it about double its size. Or you can already make balls. Maybe I'll do that. Make my life easier. Okay. That's what I'm gonna do. Make my life easy, guys. There we go. I'm gonna make smallish ones. You just want to form little balls. And then we're gonna just stretch them out, either with a rolling pin, or we'll do it by hand. So just keep tucking it under itself, and you're gonna form a nice little ball. So here we go. I will need extra to cover this. I'm really trying hard not to use this cellophane. Unfortunately, right now, to make a quick video, I am using it. But otherwise, I will use a clean towel. But I didn't have any on hand because they're in the laundry, ready for a wash. So, for now, I'm just going to cover them with this. So you want to double, at least double the size. They're going to just blow up into double the size. And then we're going to roll them out. And we're going to either pan fry them or we're going to deep fry them. But they're going to be simply delicious. And we're going to have this with our split pea soup. So I'll see you in a little bit, guys. We're going to add some more water. And we're going to add just a little bit of red lentil. I'd say about a cup. And that's going to fill up the spaces. That's what I call filling up the spaces. When you feel that you need to add some more into your soup, you just fill it up with some beautiful red lentil, and it works just fine. Very easy soup to make, and it's gonna hit the spot. Okay guys, we're gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan, and while that's heating up, let me see if I could do this. Here we go. I'm gonna use this to show you how I do my pizz'onte. I'm gonna try doing it this way. There we go. I had them proofing in the oven. So you want to kind of make it as stretched out as you can. Now these are going to be mini. The ones my mom used to make, my father, used to be humongous. It was the whole size of the pan. But you can make these as thin as you want or as thick as you want. That really is up to you. Here we go. I'm just going to put some on the side. But off to the side, I'm going to sprinkle some of this corn meal. There we go. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it on top. Now, you can also poke some holes if you want with a fork, which I'm going to do. And what this does is basically doesn't let it over puff, because it will puff if you put it in some hot oil. Here, we're going to do another one. And we're just going to spread it out. I had these proofing in my oven. I love my oven. Okay, we're just going to lower that. Here we go. So I'm just going to do these two for now and show you what they look like when they're cooked. Basically, it's like a naan bread, but we call it pizz'ontes, or where my parents come from, Abruzzi, they call it pizz'ontes. And it's just some nice fried pizza dough that you could either put something on top or you could eat it just like that. And we're going to give this a go. And I'm going to try and sneak this one in too. There we go. And that's how simple these are. Now, you can do them this way with a shallow frying, or you can actually take these and deep fry them in oil. There we go. Very simple, very fast, and you know what? Very delicious. So there you go, guys. Try this recipe. I'm going to continue cooking my split pea soup, and I'm going to fry these little guys up.
How much did you make?
Enough for dinner.
That's all? Should we do more?
Well, that's what I told them. I said, my husband's going to say, why did you make such a small batch?
Exactly, see?
Did I tell you my husband was going to say, why did you make such a small batch? There you go, guys. But these are simply delicious, fast, easy to make. And while your soup is cooking, you can make your pizz'ontes, and you can have it with a nice soup. My daughter's hungry. She's always hungry. So basically, it's an Italian naan bread. It's a naan bread. But we call it pizz'ontes. My mother used to make it the size of this pan. I'm making little ones to eat with soup, but my mom used to make them humongous. Which you can. You don't have to make them small like this. You can make a nice big size. And then you can eat them plain like this. I'm going to put some smoked salt on mine. But you can eat them. You could put sauce on it. You could put pesto on this. It really is up to you what you want to do to them. Here they are, guys. We're going to put a little bit of smoked salt. There we go. And here's a little tip, guys. I put frozen peas right at the end, and I'll tell you why. Because they defrost in a couple of seconds, and you get that cute little bite when you bite into your dish. When you put it in your mouth. And here's my beautiful meat. And that is dinner, guys. That, and a couple of pizzonas. So, I hope you like this video, guys, and if you do, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one.
For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to Connie's RAWsome Kitchen, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends.